I found a page that has all the important basic transitions and conjunctions and connecting words that you need for this course all on one page. So I've decided to require you to learn this. And you can see on the left column there are 6 important meanings that you need to focus on. And in this page, the meaning is very important, but there are some grammar issues also that I want you to be aware of. The first one is the ones that are marked in red here are words that can come at the beginning, in the middle of a sentence sometimes. And the main ones that we see all the time are and, but, and so that are marked here. But these other words can also come in the middle of the sentence. The reason I'm saying this is because all the ones that are not marked in red are normal transition words that make the transition from one sentence to the next sentence. Therefore, they are usually at the beginning of the sentence with capital letters. And you can see that over here in the first example, and is in the middle of the sentence and it has a comma before it. Furthermore is the beginning of the sentence connecting one sentence to another sentence. The meaning of furthermore is just like the meaning of and. And in speaking, we might start a new sentence with and, but in writing, we need another kind of word like also, in addition, furthermore, moreover. They all have the same meaning. So notice the difference here in the grammar. Also very important is after furthermore, there is a comma. The reason this is used here is because furthermore is functioning as a separate element that's not really part of the second sentence directly. It's trying to function to connect to the first sentence and to the second sentence. So putting it at a comma, having a comma after it, helps it be separated from the second sentence. The second meaning here is used for giving examples. Normally these come all at the beginning of the sentence, except sometimes specifically might be used in the middle of a sentence as kind of an adverb. He specifically likes chocolate. He likes chocolate specifically. Since it's an adverb, it can move around, but the other ones cannot. They have to be at the beginning. And in addition to giving examples, these are sometimes called intensifiers. They make something more intense. He likes chocolate. In particular, comma, he likes German chocolate. It makes it a little more specific or more intense. The next one is very important, is contrast. And contrast is showing the opposite where something is very different. So if we compare two cities, we're going back and forth between them. When there's a difference, we have to use a word like this to show that difference. Now, but is a conjunction that normally comes in the beginning of the sentence, and that's what you can see here. That's why I've marked it here. Notice here that but has a comma before it, just like and has a comma before it. But and are connecting two independent clauses. So subject, verb, comma, but, subject, verb. They're both separate sentences being connected with the word but. All the other ones are mostly transition, except for two that I've added down here. So on the other hand here has a comma after it. Although and even though are kind of special. Although and even though have a meaning of difference or contrast, but not a direct contrast. I call it here on the paper a partial contrast. In other words, two things don't go together well, but they're not directly opposite. So for example, we would not say Miami is hot, although Buffalo is cold. Cold and hot are direct opposites. So in that case we should say but or however to show a strong difference. The strongest difference here is in contrast, I think. Although and even though are what are called a concession. He failed the test although he studied a lot. He failed although he studied. Failing and studying usually don't go together, studying a lot and failing. So there is a partial contrast here, something unexpected. If you study, then normally you should pass. But sometimes people study and they do not pass. So we use these words although, even though, to show an unexpected result or a partial contrast. These two words can come in the middle of the sentence with no comma. He failed although he studied a lot. He failed although he studied a lot. No comma there. It's not really a normal conjunction in this case. It's an adverbial kind of a phrase. Same with even though. When although is at the beginning of the sentence, now we're going to need a comma in the middle of the sentence. Although he studied a lot, comma, he failed. Now we're separating to show the main clause is after the comma. Okay, next we have words of comparison and similarity. This means two things are similar, and most of these words are going to be used at the beginning of a sentence. Sometimes to and again or as could be used in the middle of the sentence. So don't worry too much about the grammar here, just focus on the meaning. Time sequence is pretty clear, I think. First, second, third, finally, lastly. I don't totally agree that sum up is part of time. Sum up is not really the last thing. Conclusion is not the last thing. First, second, thirdly, finally, those are things that where there's a true list, 1, 2, 3, 4. But summary and conclusion are giving like the final big idea. So it's not, if you're ending an essay, you should not say in the last paragraph, finally. Finally means another idea similar to the other body paragraphs. At the end of an essay, we like to use in conclusion or in summary or to sum up, because now we're going back to the big main idea. So they put this here in the box of time sequence, but really these words are not about time. They're about coming back to the big main ideas. Very important is the last box for cause and effect, and you need to recognize which words here are connected to causes and which ones to effects or results. Actually, all of these are words that will introduce the effect or the result. You'll notice that the word because is not here. It's an important connecting word, but it's not here to introduce causes. All of these words are introducing the effect of something. That so has a red box because, like and but and or, it is a conjunction. It's can join two independent clauses. Normally so will have a comma before it, as you can see in the examples over here. The other ones, all the other ones, as a result, consequently, they come at the beginning of the sentence, and like all the others here, they have commas after them. They are connecting across from one sentence to the next. There is a small difference in meaning here with so, sometimes with so that. So that is not really about effect, it's more about kind of purpose. I'm going to New York tonight so that I can do something. It's my purpose. It's not really exactly an effect. But in this exercise, we'll stay with just effects. I felt terrible, so I went to see my doctor. The reason we use the comma before so here is to emphasize that a new clause is starting. The best way to practice these is if I give you the first sentence or the first part of a sentence, then I give you the connecting word, and then you think of an appropriate way to finish with the second sentence or the end of the sentence. So in the screen right now we have furthermore. I like Italian pizza with pepperoni, period. Furthermore, comma, now I have to add in something like that, in addition, not something different, because it has to be more of the same. Nevertheless is similar to but. Number 3. He went to New York City, period. Nevertheless, comma, now I have to show something that's unusual or different, even though he went to New York City, but there's something strange here, not normal for people that go to New York City. Nevertheless, he didn't have time to see the Statue of Liberty. If you go to New York City, most people want to see it, at least from a distance, but here there's a contrast. He didn't see it. In this case, we could also use although or even though. It's not a direct opposite, but it can be used nevertheless, however, can be used that way to show some kind of contrast. However is the most general word, I would say. Students should really learn to use however much more. Take out but and start using however to show contrast and difference.